Speaker Nancy Pelosi led her caucus into a massive fight with Donald Trump, but she completely misread the battlefield, and now Nancy Pelosi was forced to admit the most humiliating defeat of her life. Democrats spent months lying to the American people, claiming there was no crisis along the southern border. Their allies in the fake news media helped amplify this message. Now they are singing a different tune. The fake news media hammered the Trump administration with reports about the supposed mistreatment of children in detention centers. So-called journalists believed this would throw President Trump back on his heels and force him to accept open borders and maybe even amnesty. But it backfired. Instead, the Trump administration pointed out that the Democrats had blocked their request for $4.5 billion in emergency funding to deal with this crisis for weeks. The Senate passed a bill with massive bipartisan majority along an 84-6 vote to meet the president's request. Pelosi and her House majority were in a bind. Open borders radicals like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez want to end enforcement of immigration laws and release all illegal aliens into the country, so they held up a vote on emergency funding. That no longer was tenable when the Senate passed a bill after the photograph of a 2-year-old illegal alien child and her father who died from drowning in the Rio Grande surfaced. In order to get Democrats to agree to pass a bill, Pelosi had to include language that placed severe restrictions on how President Trump could spend the money. The president threatened to veto the bill and the Senate voted it down. That left Democrats stuck. With the 4th of July recess approaching on Friday, Pelosi feebly tried to demand negotiations, but Mitch McConnell declared the Senate passed their bill and was leaving for recess. Pelosi had no choice but to wave the white flag of surrender and accept the Senate bill. This enraged open borders advocates. Democrat Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, blasted the move. She is a very experienced legislator, but I think this is a very rough patch. Jayapal ranted, "We can't say that we have a lawless administration or a president who should be in prison, or whatever people want to say about him, but then cave. You have to fight for what you believe." But no one had harsher words for Pelosi than Ocasio-Cortez. Under no circumstances should the House vote for a McConnell-only bill. No negotiation with Democrats. Hell no. That's an abdication of power we should refuse to accept. They will keep hurting kids if we do. Ocasio-Cortez raged on social media. Zero negotiation with the House. We offered crucial amendments to protect children and families. None are even being considered. A minority is different than a majority, and while the Senate has to deal with its lack of power there, a House majority should have a seat at the table. Ocasio-Cortez added,